What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the eviction ban and how you can use this in your favor and some loopholes to prevent yourself from being evicted. There is a nationwide CDC eviction ban right now until the end of the year. That's the first thing I want to talk about. Then we'll get into some stimulus news and some other stuff. But first, don't forget to give this video a like down below and subscribe down below if you haven't yet. This way you won't miss out on new news regarding the second stimulus check and the 2020 election. Okay, first up, tens of thousands of renters are still being evicted through a CDC order protecting people from evictions while landlords are finding loopholes. Large corporations have filed over 10,000 eviction actions in just 5 states alone since September. As tens of thousands of people have realized, rather than offer a bubble of stability in the midst of this pandemic, the federal response of the eviction moratorium has injected confusion into the housing courts. Because of the order's wording, which gives local judges room for interpretation and pushback from landlords, evictions have continued, according to Princeton University's eviction lab, from September 4th, the date the CDC order took effect, through October 17th. Over 20,000 evictions were filed in the 22 cities monitored alone by the project's researchers. As an example, in mid-September, a lady walked into a crowded Fayette County courthouse with her signed CDC declaration of the eviction moratorium. She took her place in a long line of tenants spaced 6 feet apart. When she finally reached the courtroom, she learned a judgment had already been entered against her in the case. She asked why she was being evicted despite having a signed CDC declaration. The judge replied that she did not qualify for the eviction moratorium because she had failed to make a partial payment. The CDC order's biggest loophole, tenant rights lawyers say, may be a single clause in the order that reads, quote, "You may be evicted for reasons other than not paying rent." It gives landlords ways around the moratorium and the ability to evict tenants. So, my advice to you or anybody you know that is facing possible eviction, there is this CDC eviction moratorium out there. My advice to you is go online, Google it, and research as much as you can about it. Spend a few hours learning all the ins, all the outs of exactly what you need to do to prevent yourself from being evicted if this is applicable to you or anybody you know. And if you followed all these steps and you think that you have been wrongly evicted, then you might want to contact a lawyer that specializes in evictions. You might be able to seek some damages, but I honestly think I'm not a lawyer. I think you should do as much research as you can and basically go out there and know your rights. And once you know, you're going to already be in a lot better position than you are now without knowing all the facts. President Donald Trump has said yesterday that he will pass the quote best stimulus ever after the election, and to make sure you vote for him during this election because he will pass the stimulus after the election. Now, I think this is just one angle of what he's trying to do to get reelected. I personally think he's going to try as many angles as he can because, well, who wouldn't? I mean, if I was running for reelection of presidency, I would try to do everything I can, within reason, anything that's not like shady or, that shouldn't be done. I would be, saying, hey, we'll pass stimulus after the election. I would also try to pass a stimulus check with the presidential executive order right before the election. I honestly probably would have did it a week or two ago, but he hasn't done it yet. So I would still do it before the election because I don't think the Democrats are going to challenge it. And if they do challenge it, it makes them totally look like the bad guys. So why not pass a stimulus check through a presidential executive order now? Because it'll only help you out in the election. It'll also help out millions of people. And if the Democrats do challenge it, it only makes them look bad. So why wouldn't he want to pass a stimulus check through a presidential executive order before the election? He already said that there's $300 billion sitting there from the first stimulus package that has already been approved by Congress. They also said that there's over $130 billion also sitting there from the PPP program that has been unspent, and that there's hundreds of other billions of dollars sitting there in the Treasury Fund, all that has been approved from Congress from previous stimulus packages. In total, there's almost $800 billion sitting there that has already been approved by Congress. Just so you know the numbers, they need about 250 to $300 billion on the high end. Honestly, if you did the $1,200 stimulus check and the $500 stimulus check for dependents, you can get by with about $250 billion to pass another stimulus check. So he could actually pass 3 stimulus checks of the $1,200 and the $500 for dependents, and that would be about $750 billion of the $800 billion that's sitting there through a presidential executive order. So he could for sure pass at least one, and there would be plenty of money just still sitting there being unused that has already been approved by Congress. And all he needs to do is pass it through a presidential executive order, whether it's a gray area or not. I mean, the previous one he did was a gray area also, and he passed it, and the Democrats didn't challenge it. I have no idea why he wouldn't do that exact same scenario again, except for using the money for unemployment money during this pandemic, use it for a stimulus check for you guys before the election. I have no idea why he wouldn't do that again. In fact, I do still firmly believe at this point that he will do that again before the election, because I can't fathom why he wouldn't, because it's pretty much the same scenario of what he did before the Democrats say he can't do it. That's unconstitutional. He's not allowed to do it. And he did it anyways, and then they didn't challenge it. So why would he not do it again and pass a stimulus check this time? Like he said, he wants to use that $300 billion for a stimulus check, and that he wanted Congress to approve it, but if they didn't, they were looking into ways to do it through a presidential executive order. So honestly, why not do that now? Get a stimulus check out now to the people, and then after the election, they can work on the negotiations of another stimulus package, and the large package, which has the unemployment money in there, the mortgage and rental assistance money, which could be thousands of dollars for people, also the money for schools, the money for the vaccine. I mean, they're still going to need to pass all that stuff, because it's not like the schools needing money and the vaccine needing money and the virus needing, we still have to crush the virus, right? I mean, heaven forbid we don't crush the virus. I mean, they still need to crush the virus. So they still need to do all that stuff, even though the election is going to happen. I mean, no matter what, they still need to pass a stimulus sooner or later. I think the president should pass a stimulus check now. Let's get out some relief to the people. Then we can work on the stimulus package after, and even get another $1,200 check out. As you guys have said, it's not like the $1,200. We should have already had one in midsummer to supplement for how long this has been going on. We should now be working on our third stimulus check. So I think he's going to do it. You let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, because we still have about a week to go before the election. And honestly, to many people, this election seems very dark for whoever it loses. There's a lot of people that just can't wait for President Donald Trump to lose. And then there's a lot of people that just can't imagine Joe Biden being the president. And I honestly feel like our country is more divided than ever. And I don't think this election is helping our country come closer together at all. With about 330 million people in this country and almost a dead set split of 150, 160 million voting for Trump and 150, 60 million voting for Biden. I mean, it's not that many because not everybody votes, but it's almost a 50-50 split. 50% of the country is going to be terribly mad after the election, and they can't imagine how the other party could have won. And it's a sad fact that that is where our country is at. And honestly, that's how our Congress is too. I know they've passed 4 stimulus packages in the past, but it's that thinking that one side is terrible and that side's right. Honestly, that's why I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, because I don't see things in black and white. Like, if I was a Republican, I just can't imagine seeing that Republicans are always right. And I can't imagine seeing that Democrats are always right. Like, I don't see things that black and white. The thing that disturbs me the most is when you see these bills come out that are supposed to help the American people, and let's just say, for example, it's a Democratic bill and not a single Republican votes for it. And then the Republicans come out with a stimulus bill that's supposed to help the American people, and not a single Democrat votes for it. It saddens me to my core that that is what the United States of America has come to, that people vote no on a package that is designed to help the American people based on solely on their party. I mean, they see in these packages, there's stimulus checks, there's unemployment, there's money for schools, there's money for the virus. And I don't know how these people can, in good faith, vote no against these bills when they would help out tens of millions of Americans, and they vote no just because some senior Republican or senior Democrat told them to vote no, and every single one of them falls in lines and votes no, and every single one of the other side votes no when it's their turn. It's just, honestly, Congress just makes me very sad. I know they've passed stimulus packages up until this point, but we need more. With the virus only getting worse, we're setting record number of cases right now, and we're going into the colder months where viruses typically do better in colder weather. We need help. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, I'm here with my beautiful wife, Laurel, to give you guys the next clue in the What's in the Box contest. You can guess what's in that box. You could receive $125 from me. My wife is sitting here having hot flashes. I know, it feels like 100 degrees in this house.
I'm sweating.
Maybe it's just because she's sitting next to me, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That's gotta be it. Actually, let me ask you, Laurel, who do you think is going to win the presidential election?
It's a toss-up. I have no idea. Either of them could win.
Oh, also, I seen an article. I forgot to show it as I was filming there, but Trump has actually canceled his advertising campaign in Florida, or almost canceled it. They've reduced it like significantly. I personally think that's a mistake
Yeah,
because
that's like a battleground state.
Florida's like dead even heat right now.
It is.
And apparently Trump's campaign's running out of money. I did see an article previously where he said he would put in $100 million of his own. And honestly, if you're President Trump, you would think this is your legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're gonna, I mean, he's supposedly worth $2.5 billion. If you're gonna spend money, this is probably the best thing running for re-election of your own presidency.
Yeah,
I think that's a mistake for him to cancel
I do too.
that in Florida, which is like, I mean, he could lose that by 1% or less.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: who do you think is gonna, Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi? How do you think their re-elections are going to go?
I mean, I think they should both lose, but we have.
No, don't. In my opinion, I'm just asking you.
I mean, I think they should.
I already told them my
they
opinion.
should both lose. Whether they will or not is the question.
It's going to be an interesting election. On election day, I will be covering both their campaigns, whether the House and the Senate are going to remain Democratic or Republican, along with President Donald Trump. So I will be covering all that interesting news for you guys on election day. And maybe I can drag my better half here to
No.
join us for some episodes. I think we're going to send Julian to Grandma and Grandpa's on that day.
Yeah.
So that we can actually get some work done.
So that I can sleep.
Yeah, by sleep she means work the entire day. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
pretty much.
Okay, so without further ado, what is today's clue, Laurel?
Today's clue is if you find the one.
That's actually a really good clue. Can you repeat that clue for us again? I thought it was a good clue.
I'm cutting this.
Don't cut it. Do not cut this. Do not cut this. Okay. This makes it into the video. No. Yes, it must. It must.
Okay, today's clue is find the wrong one and you'll be saying ooh la la.
Can I just say ooh la la now and I'll be the one?
No.
What? That's why you said you're hot, because I'm here. All right, repeat the clue one more time.
Find the wrong one and you'll be saying ooh la la.
It's a pretty interesting clue.
I'm sweating. It's probably he knows.
That's the pain.
It's the pain.
Yeah.
We get the pain sweats, and then sometimes if he's lucky, he gets the pain brain. Tell him about the pain brain.
I'm telling you, she is so smart. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met. She has this like photographic memory where I can tell her something and she'll remember it just like years later. She remembers like movie quotes. What movie was it that you were just quoting like every single line of?
The Fifth Element.
Oh my God, she's watching The Fifth Element in bed
When I
yesterday.
was in pain at what, 2 a.m.
And she's
'cause I couldn't
quoting
sleep.
like every line they're gonna say before they say it. And I'm like, I've seen that movie several times. And I'm thinking, how do you remember every line they're gonna say? It's not like she's seen it 100 times.
Just do.
But when
If I hear things 2 or 3 times, I've got it.
but when she gets the pain brain,
That does not happen.
that's a different woman. She'd be like, huh? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep. Pain brain is not good.
Let me know if you've ever had pain brain.
I think that's a term I coined myself.
Hey, that could be our next trademark.
Yeah.
The Jimmy and Laurel Show, featuring Pain Brain. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. We only have a few clues left, so make sure to stay tuned, and then we will be announcing what's in the box and the winners coming up in a upcoming episode. You can click on this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check videos. And you can watch this video over here to watch a video on how to sell products on Amazon FBA, where we teach people how to sell products on Amazon, and we have dozens of students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys. We will see you in the next video.